We've got metal. We've got thrash. We've got destruction. Born to perish. So I've already gone through a couple reviews on this brand new channel. This I've been waiting to review for a while, but as I say, I had to start the new channel in order for it to, be proper in my eyes. Destruction, Born to Perish, as I say. Zero introduction to this band is necessary, and I'm also having a beer because you don't do a destruction review without a beer. I mean, come on. Now, that having been said, this isn't tankard, but it's still German thrash. Now, one of the three main components of the Teutonic thrash bands is destruction. And as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to call them the nastiest of the three. Like, you got Creator, which is more like the technical Metallica, or no, the technical sort of Megadeth kind of thing. Sodom is more, how do I put this? Sodom is more black and death metal, kind of with a lot of thrash. But Destruction is the real thrash out of the whole lot. Now, I'm not saying that this Creator and Sodom are bad. They're just different versions of thrash. Destruction is pure thrash all the time. There's not really a whole lot of technicality to it, but it's the whole point behind what they do. Now, Marcel Schmier, the bassist and the vocalist, and one of the longest reigning members, because we've also got Micah Siffringer on vocals, on guitar, and I guess he does backup vocals. Randy Black, who is the former Biff Naked drummer, and as well as the former Annihilator drummer. He is now in the band, which is fucking phenomenal because you'll hear once I get to his drumming with this record. And they have a brand new lead guitarist in Damar Eskik. I do hope that I pronounced his name correctly. Now, because I'm a Destruction fan and Schmier is a legit influence on my bass playing and vocal approach too. Bass between him and Tom Araya, those two are the guys that are really my biggest influences when it comes to being in Beyond Eternal, and I'll touch base on that later. Now, the boys have been a three-piece for as long as I can remember. Now they're a four-piece, and not that that's a bad. That's far from a bad thing. That's far from a bad thing. I find it makes them. The sound is fuller, much fuller, and there's nothing wrong with that. But even as a three-piece, they're still one of the best fucking thrash bands in the world, as far as I'm concerned. Now, and like I say, let's not kid ourselves. As a four-piece, they're just only going to sound that much better and that much fuller. This record released on August 9th, 2019. And I'm aware that I'm getting to this late, but, new channel and all. You got to do things slightly different. This thing absolutely bends and just literally melts the brain right into the next millennium. Schmier on vocals sounds like a fucking serial killer. Okay, like he literally sounds like a serial killer. It's harsh. The patented bark, as I'm going to get to shortly. Every ounce of what I come to expect from a Destruction record, I'm getting on this, and this really almost sounds like the Antichrist. That whole kind of feel. That's where I'm drawn to, especially in terms of comparing to an older record. Now, Randy crushes on this record with fucking hammering ease. I mean, it's almost as if he's just like, another day at the office, but I'm going to kick the snot out of this record, and he's so good. Mike Siffringer, as always, brings the riff, and he brings the power of Destruction. Him and Schmier have basically been the two in the band that have been the most consistent. And obviously the longest members. I mean, there was that one time where, Schmier wasn't around, but we won't talk about it because I don't like to think about it. It kind of disturbs me, actually. The first time that I saw any new stuff from Destruction was the wintertime, I was just sitting there just kind of farting around on YouTube, and I was looking at Dean basses because I like all kinds of different stuff. Um, you hear Schmear playing Rotten on a playthrough for on his Dean V bass, basically through Nuclear Blast Records. I was like, oh, well, this is cool. Right on. I'm like, oh, wait, is this new stuff? I must find this out. So I go over to Spotify after I'm done watching it, and I was like, this is so cool. Get the record, crank the piss out of it, loved every fucking minute of it. And then I was like, the next day that I could, I went over to the mall in the course in the wintertime before all this COVID shit started. Ordered the record, and now I'm like, no, I gotta wait for this thing to come in, and I gotta wait for, excuse me, I gotta wait for all this to clear off. Now, when we go to tracks that are that I love on this record, are as follows. Rotten, it just absolute smoke show right from the get-go. Hammering rhythm section. Mike's doing his thing. Schmear hits this nice little bass fill, and then comes in with that patented thrash bark. He's got a scream. He's got a falsetto scream that'll just tear your head off. But this track, he features his bark the most, and it just sounds so good. And of course, in the chorus, when it comes into rotten to the car, when he does that, the rotten part, it's almost as if it's so. I don't know, but it sounds like it's either a gang vocal, but it could almost be as if Schmear went into the vocal booth and recorded rotten, but he did it in like a couple different octaves or a couple different bits of his range, I guess, layered it, put it together, and then had the rotten to the core on top of it. That I'm not 100% sure because it's really guttural, and I don't think Mike's got much. I don't think he's got that guttural backup vocal. I don't think he does at all. So that's kind of why I'm thinking it was mostly Schmear. Now, the title track, Born to Perish, starts off with this nice marching beat by Randy, a nice little chuggy riff, and then next thing you know, another scream at the 28-second mark, courtesy of Schmear, and he just lets out his scream like he normally does. Then this rips right along at a typical thrash pace and in pure destruction form. These guys have got a pattern, and they've done nothing but that pattern, and they've kicked ass basically from the day they've started. Now, lyrically with Schmear, this here, and then the next song after this. I've been reading and studying his lyrics for as long as I can remember, especially since I started in the band, in my band Beyond Eternal. And I'll kind of touch base on that in a few minutes. Born to Perish. We suffocate on our own faith. All that we cherish, we deny, we choke, we destroy. Take that how you will. Process that thought, and then when you listen to the song, you'd be like, God damn, this is so good. Some of Schmear's best lyrics, period. Now, following that, Tyrants of the Netherworld starts with another crushing riff. Then Schmear comes in with this growl scream, but in the background, my all-time favorite is that high falsetto scream that he does, and it's underneath it. Of course, my preference, I would prefer the falsetto up front and the lower, but I get it. I understand it because I've done that whole growl thing at the start and then have a little falsetto underneath because it kind of adds to it, and it's you still keep that whole vintage 80s thrash thing without overdoing it. Now, and of course, he just fucking slays it as he always does because it's Schmear. That's what he does. Now, another batch of lyrics. Okay, that this all goes hand in hand with the world issue currently at this landscape. We are not in charge of our course of action. There's no more influence, just distraction. We've lost control of our order. Where is the line? The fucking border. If I'm lying, I'm dying. I mean, how much more does this not fit the social landscape? It doesn't. Not any more than what it then. It's like almost the perfect verse. You know what I mean? And I think it's the second verse. Well, now this is kind of the part where I kind of, plug my own band, but at the same time explain how deep it goes with my love for this band. Destruction, when I first got into Beyond Eternal and given the chance to play and sing, I'm like, who can I look up to? Schmear's the guy. So and on the first record you don't hear a lot of that, but it's because, and it's a long story and I won't get to it. I've listened to this guy's, listen to his lyrics, I've listened to his bass lines, and I've listened to how he just carries himself, and the rest of the band carries himself. We have a song called "Live for Nothing or Die for Something." It is a direct fucking ripoff almost of Thrash Till Death. I mean, check us out. Whatever, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, now that this review's pretty much, in the bag, this record absolutely fucking annihilates the senses right from the get-go. I don't care what anybody says. I'll say this time and time again. I would look them directly in the face and tell them that. This record gets a 5 out of 5 every damn listen. It only gets better, and it's not like I'm kissing their ass because I'm giving it I give it a 5 out of 5. I'm just stating a fucking fact. When I listen to this record, it gets a 5 out of 5 because it just kicks ass. It's that simple. Thank you guys so very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy this. If you like it, give the old like a little punch. And then if you like the other vids, I'm slowly getting into the new channel, as I say. Subscribe, share it. Share it with all your buds. Let them know what's going on. Let them know that, yes, I am doing a brand new channel. I've got a new channel, and I've got some more musical instrument discussions coming up. I think the next one is going to be, it's either going to be Fender or Schecter. I haven't gotten to it. Probably going to be Schecter because it's going to be a little longer-winded. So stay metal, stay thrash.